2025. Designation of emergency entity at Montpelier. We have appointment roll call. We have appointment of district clerk pro tem. Resolved that in the absence of the district clerk, the Board of Education has Carol Ward to serve as the district clerk pro tem for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year. Okay.
Here.
Dr. Warback, our mission and vision. Thank you. You'll see on the agenda there's a misprint. The very first item on the agenda is not there. Is the report. I'm not sure why that's there. That's actually late in the meeting after this meeting. So it is on the agenda. That's why I asked for the report. All right. Yeah, our first item is approval of minutes for October 14th and our November 5th meetings. I have a motion for those. Mr. Malta, seconded by Ms. Kelly.
Yeah, it's right here.
Dr. Warback, Sawyer to Soar.
So we have many students that are short.
Just start.
Yeah,
Here. Start.
because I don't have my mind when we first start.
It's okay.
And we get on their board. What if we would like to honor one of our seventh grade students who won the I voted in the Worcester County School.
You can pick that up. It's easy.
Good evening, board members. My name is Riker Darlene, and I'm a seventh grade student at the Saugerties Junior High School. I'm the proud winner of the 2025 Worcester County I Voted Sticker Contest. I first heard about the contest from seeing my parents with previous stickers that I've never entered. Until last year, my art teacher at Grand Forest Elementary, Miss Black, told our class about the I Voted Sticker competition. She allowed us to use our class time to create our vision. I was excited for this opportunity because of my love for art and civic engagement. Miss Black was very encouraging, and that made me want to put my best effort into it. It's important to note that she submitted all of her student designs so that everyone has an opportunity to enter who may have not had it on their own. Where did this design a vision from? Years ago, I was drawing at the Boys and Girls Club for needed some inspiration. I asked my favorite staff member, Maggie, what her favorite food was, and she said pizza. Then I asked, what is your favorite animal? And she said monster. And I said, sure. She answered, monster. That is how my pizza monster was first created. She has always encouraged me by telling me that I was a great artist. I drew it in different forms, and last year I used it to create the pizza ribbon for the comic. I'm also interested in government and being an active member of my community. I was vice president and president of the student council of my elementary school. I believe civic engagement means participating in activities that bring different types of people together with a common goal of bringing a positive change to the community. Obviously, I'm too young to vote in elections, but I'm not too young to be involved. I make a difference in my school and community when I choose to be empathetic, when I choose to educate myself in our nation's history, when I choose to make good choices, and when I choose to use my voice to stand up for others. Thank you, Ms. Black, and to all the adults who encourage children to believe in themselves. Have a good night.
All right, thank you, Riker. All right, presentations on.
Congratulations to our senior football team who did not give up this past weekend. We won our first sectional title since 1993. 22-21. The football team continues this weekend in the semifinal against Sleepy Hollow in Middletown. Good luck.
All right. Ms. Jean Greco. Grantee Moore, school update.
All right, I just want to thank everyone for having myself and some of my wonderful students here for the opportunity to share a little slice of life at Grantee Morse. This is the 4th time that I've had the opportunity to share our little world with you, and I just want to say that I am incredibly proud to be the principal of Morse over this past year, but all 4 years. And I'm also exceedingly proud to be what I'd like to consider now an adopted member of the Saugerties community. So thank you so much for that.
We're getting there, we're getting there.
I can tap dance. That's a lie, I'm not tap dancing.
Put in presentation. There you go.
Let's see. All right. Dr. Orbeck did an amazing job reading this work that was a collaboration. Everything we do, we start every meeting with this. Even my student BLT meetings start with this. So I'm not going to read both, but because everything we're going to share with you tonight, the vision sticks with me and it drives what we do every day for our students. So I'm just going to say this again. We are the beacon of educational excellence where every individual is inspired to achieve their fullest potential. I think those words have real meaning here. So today's presentation is all going to be centered around our district priority areas that we again developed as a collaborative community. So we're going to talk to you about what academic excellence, professional culture, family and community engagement, and the student experience look like at Morse. I think the work that we did is really powerful because a lot of these areas overlap, and many of the things that we're going to share with you and things that happen beyond don't just fit neatly into one of these categories, which is really how it should be. We also listed our core values because every month at Morris we focus on a core value, and all these activities reinforce those things we want our kids to be, to fulfill just daily who they are, but also we want them to be, when they end up being a graduate, as part of that portrait of a graduate. So without further ado, We're gonna start with academic excellence, and I would like to invite our student council president, Michael Tiano, to the microphone.
Good evening. My name is Michael Tiano, and I'm the president of Grantee Morse's Student Council. One of our priority areas at Morse is academic excellence. One of our favorite activities we do that supports academic excellence is the Success Parade and the Senior Walkthrough. This is a great activity for students at Morse because during the parade, students get to show their personal successes, and the senior walkthrough allows students to see what we can do someday. What my favorite part is getting to see the seniors and celebrating all of the successes.
And just so you know, each of the students picked what they wanted to share with you. The other things that we're highlighting are our passion fair, which again aligns with that students choosing what they want to share, and our success parade. No adult tells the kids what to present or what to celebrate at the end. That's completely student driven. We also this summer instituted a summer reading challenge to try to encourage our kids to continue reading through the summer. And then we're not going to do the pages and pages of graphs and charts, but I do want to celebrate the hard work that every individual at Morris was doing. We saw a 40% growth from the beginning of the year to the end of the year in both reading and math of students on grade level, and that is a testament to the dedicated professionals at Morris who go above and beyond for our kids. And we do recognize, because educators do this, that there's still growth and there's areas that we need to look at our iReady data, but also all the other data that we get from our kids, from what they share with us. So last week, the elementary principals, together with Dr. Rohrbeck and Dr. Jen, did a dive into our iReady data. A lot of what we'll do, one meeting with staff, is we'll talk about noticings and wondering. So that's how we approached this start to our data analysis. When looking at literacy data, one of the things we noticed is that our primary grades, they're struggling to maintain the learning over the summer in phonemic awareness and phonics, which are the foundational skills to everything else. And our intermediate students are experiencing challenges with vocabulary and comprehension of written text. So these are areas that, as we're having professional learning, we need to focus in on these. In the math realm, math has always been an area that's lagged a little behind reading. And we've noticed that our staff is making exceptional growth in math, but the summer slide that we see happening in literacy is actually happening even more in math, with some grade levels experiencing a 50% decline from ending the year on grade level, but then not starting the next year. So so now we go from the things we notice to the wonderings, and this is the really fun part, because this is where we can kind of think about how do we make it better for the kids, which is why we're all here. So some of the wondering questions that we're going to be talking about at the building is, what creative and cost-effective ways can we engage students and families to decrease summer learning loss? So that's what can we do over the summer, but I'm going to quote my amazing colleague, Mr. Tryon, where he came up with the term, how do we make learning more sticky? How do we make it stay? Because that's what we want for kids. And then the second is, how do we provide more practice for our students to demonstrate comprehension on written, not oral language samples? Our staff do a lot of support to students in the classroom, and they read a lot of things and ask the students to comprehend it. But then what we do is our instructional practices don't match how we assess, because we're assessing the kids to read it on their own. So we have to build the capacity of our students, and we have to build the capacity as the adults to let the kids fly on their own. So we're gonna work on those skills this year. The next section is going to be introduced by our student council treasurer, Cash Fellows.
My name is Cash Fellows, and I am Grantee Morris Student Council Treasurer. The next priority area that I would like to speak with you about is family and community engagement. One of my favorite events that just happened at Morris is our annual Veterans Day Assembly. This is a special activity for students because it shows everyone what veterans did for our country, and it allows us to show appreciation for our veterans service. The reason that I like this event so much is because I get to escort my grandpa and great uncle, and everyone can celebrate and see what branch of service they were in. I would now like to introduce Lucas, who wants to share another favorite event.
Thank you, Cash. My name is Lucas Tiano, and I'm the Social Director of Grandy Moore Student Council. The event that I would like to tell you about was a new one last year, McTeacher Night. This event is fantastic for our school and community because it gives teachers, kids, and families time to bond and have fun together. My favorite part about McTeacher Night is that my favorite adults at Morse get to cook up for us, and then we can talk with them.
So family and community engagement is really where this work moves beyond the classroom walls. So in addition to the things that our students want to share with you, I feel like every month we seem to have a food drive, which speaks to the need in our community. But our Show You Care food drive is especially meaningful at Morse. We have our 6th grade summative activities where we celebrate our students who will be moving up to the junior high, including Mustang Bowl, which, hey, maybe that's where we'll be repeating in football with some of those players next. The lip sync and our moving up ceremony. The elementary virtual career fair is near and dear to my heart. I think that career education starts in kindergarten, and I was recently able to share that with some of my colleagues. And our PTA is amazing, hosting many events, but one of my favorite is Trunk or Treat, and then of course, partnering with our fire department on Fire Safety Day is always a wonderful day as well. The next priority standard is professional culture. This one focuses on the adults, but we know when we support adults, we're really supporting students as well. So a couple highlights that we've been working on in this. We are about to this week go into our first set of grand rounds, which are data-driven and solution-focused conversations with professionals, all about supporting students. We've had some amazing superintendent conference days recently, where we've been encouraging staff to look at data and also to share work, because some of the best ideas are homegrown here in Saugerties. And so we have continued that work at faculty meetings. We are doing, since we only get 45 to 50 minutes when you get the buses out, we can't do data dives, we do data dips. And we also have embedded in our faculty meeting time for staff to share out the work that they're doing and learn from each other. I want to recognize some staff members here at Morris. Every month we do standing ovations. Actually, every week we do standing ovations. In the past year, Anna Zivian, Kelly Petramal, and Kylene Leiter have all presented at superintendent conference days, and many other staff have shared their expertise at faculty meetings. Ms. Jenna Katapani was the Saugerties Central School District Teacher of the Year. I will tell you, all you have to do is step into her room on day one and then step into her room on the last day to see that as a very well-deserved award. And if you're someone like me who gets the pleasure of seeing all the things in between, you know those kids are loved and cared for so much. And then I was just having this conversation with one of my staff members. I cannot expect my staff to walk the walk and put themselves out there if I do not also do the same thing. So in the last year, I had the opportunity to be featured in 2 podcasts at Deeper Learning New York, which is a conference the whole admin team here goes and learns together in. Last month, I presented at the SANES conference, which is the State School Administrators Association of New York State, and in conjunction with that, also wrote an article for the Vanguard magazine, which is a terrifying thing for me. Putting writing out there is hard, but if I'm gonna ask my students and my staff to do it, I will do it as well. So that's an important focus area because that professional culture changes kids' lives. So our last priority area will be introduced by Student Council Vice President Lennon Topple.
My name is Lennon Topple, and I was elected for the Grantee Morris Student Council Vice President this year. The student experience at Morris focuses on the core values of integrity, empathy, compassion, engagement, and inclusivity. The event that I wanted to share with you tonight was Principal for a Day. I think this is good for kids because my friend Chloe got to be the principal for the day. And I remember the next day she was telling me all about it. She loved it and she got to do a lot of fun things. I really enjoyed seeing the principals for the day walking through the halls with the actual principal. I also like when people share their experience with me. Thank you.
All right, and student experience, this is where the rubber meets the road. Other things that we want to highlight around student experience at Morris, we're fortunate between staff members and community members to be able to offer extracurricular activities for students in grades 1 through 6. We are keeping alive the park program. The next two I'm exceedingly proud of because these are completely student driven. We got permission to repaint the school building, so if you've had the opportunity to step in Morris, it doesn't look like the old, that I affectionately called Battleship Blue. It is beautiful, and it is an elementary school, and it was completely chosen in color by our students. And the parking lot painting project, which is a little bit of a work in progress because we lost the sun and it's cold now, but we will finish it in the spring, was designed by students last year and is being finished by students this year, which is lovely. We do our One Book, One School, which is in its 3rd year. We do our next class visits where students get to visit with their next classroom teacher at the next grade level, take some of that anxiety away of going away for the summer. Project Postcard I love and was born from COVID before I joined you. Every student at Morse receives a postcard welcoming them back over the summer. We have a little fun, so we've played some Clue, which develops some students' critical thinking and problem solving. And we just finished Morris Monopoly Madness, and appropriately named, but all again, made the students really engaged that week, which was great. And the last 2 things I want to share is we have started at Morris having tabletop discussion cards. Think a restaurant where your menu would be. Now we have riddles and jokes and conversation starters for the cafeteria. And really, if you're going to look at student experience, it's about students wanting to be in the building. And last year, I spent a lot of time talking to you about attendance. Morris decreased their chronic attendance rate by 2.9%, which is the highest decrease in the district. Our kids, even our toughest kids, want to be at Morris, and that is something that I will forever be proud of. And we're still doing the work because there's still more to do. We shifted this year a little bit after some reflection guided by Dr. G and her blessing. Our student voice is so powerful, we've decided to bring it front and center. Our BLT is now student managed and predominantly run by students. Teachers recommended students based on diversity, creativity, and excitement. I don't know that. Adults, parents, and staff members are always invited, and we have representation from general ed and our self-contained classes. We've had 2 meetings. The first is students met and discussed these bullet points that align to some of the things we're looking to improve on. What are things that make it hard for kids to come to school? What are the hardest things to learn? What makes learning easier? And they were encouraged not just to think about themselves, but their friends. And what is one thing you'd want to improve at Morse? We had our second meeting where we dove into some of the data, and the students did some analysis, and I tried to focus them to either pick a math or an ELA goal, and they said nope. And since it's student run, we went with it, and we divided into 2 teams. So the math team is going to be working on creating this winter a geometry game or event at Morse that will increase engagement and stickiness, hopefully, around geometry skills. And they have invited a content specialist, our MTSS teacher, to join them, to guide them. And for ELA, the students working on that, they're going to do a campaign around the building for our, working with our librarians to check out more informational and nonfiction text, associating that with the Dewey Decimal System. And then also taking over those tabletop to challenge their classmates during lunch to answer some informational text challenges that they've written. And our next meeting is tomorrow, if anyone from Morse would like the opportunity to work with these brilliant kids. So that is a little slice of our world. That's our whole student population from last year, and if you have any questions, I would be glad to answer them.
When you said you focus, you said every month you focus on
A core value?
yeah, how do you do that? Like, what,
So,
I mean,
2 years ago, we took the core values and we divided them up by month. We split compassion and, you're gonna put me on the spot, and empathy. And then that makes 9, and then we took part of one and made it other one. So what we do is every beginning of the month, we announce it on the announcements. We remind everyone of it on Mondays. Staff who see students exhibiting the traits, so like this month is empathy. So if a staff member sees a child being empathetic, we have little papers they can recommend students. You're so excited you're throwing your microphone.
I know.
And then every Friday, we choose 5 students out of that box. And then their names are read on the announcements. I do a positive phone call home to the parents, and they receive a token for our book vending machine, because if they can have a core value and read, I'm happy.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Okay.
Anyone else?
No, but you did a great job.
Oh, just thank you for your time and your continued support. We love what we're doing at Morse, and we want to keep it up. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right.
$5,000
I say
mics.
the one of the two new
All right.
mics.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Just throw it around.
I know.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Little girl is so little.
I know. All right, now just moving to an older student, our student representative for Adriana.
The club fair is underway this week. All students in grades 7 through 12 have the opportunity to explore the various clubs that exist in the junior and senior high school during their lunch periods. The ID badge raffle. Students caught wearing their ID badges have been given a raffle ticket for a chance to win a $10 gift card to Dunkin' or Starbucks. The drawing will take place on November 21st. Awards and recognitions. Students in grades 9 through 12 that have been nominated by their teachers for demonstrating academic excellence or exhibiting Saugerties Central School District's core values will be recognized this coming Friday and invited to attend an awards breakfast. Junior high school. A wonderful Veterans Day reception and assembly was held on November 3rd. Veterans were treated to a continental breakfast in their senior high library with members of the junior high school government and builders club. Over 25 local veterans were in attendance, including family, alumni, and student and staff of the senior high school. They then attended a school-wide assembly featuring performances by the 8th grade band and chorus, and student speakers including the winners of What Patriotism Means to Me, Elk's essay contest, and the I Voted sticker winner, both Saugerties students. Modified sports to begin next week. Our first Sawyer Fall Star Breakfast reception for 7th and 8th graders will be held before the holiday weekend. Students will not only be recognized for academic improvement and work ethic, but also for contributing to a positive and kind school environment. The junior high school government will be hosting our first social winter fest on Friday, December 5th at 6:30 p.m. Activities will include games, crafts, and dancing. Morse held their Veterans Day Assembly in Mustang Bowl, providing an engaging and educational experience for our students and community. Grand rounds will be starting this week, where will be looking at students' strengths and areas of challenges as an instructional team. Cahill. We are excited to continue our partnership between Cahill Elementary and the Ulster BOCES Agriculture and Animal Science program. Through the collaboration, high school students guided by instructor Lisa Baker are leading hands-on standards-based science lessons for our 3rd and 4th graders. Our first visit was on October 10th and featured a multi-sensory garden exploration and an experiment on plant needs, bringing science to life in fun, engaging ways. Their visit on November 17th was an in-class lesson on soil. With monthly visits planned, this partnership offers a unique opportunity for both elementary and high school students to learn and grow together. We are preparing for our school extended day session. During these sessions, students work with staff members who volunteer to lead a variety of clubs. Our first session featured groups such as Puzzle Club, Tumble Club, Book Club, Homework Help, Craft Club, and ENL Club. We look forward to offering an exciting selection of new clubs in the upcoming session. Cahill PTA held our first annual Fall Fest on the 14th. The next PTA meeting on January 7th, no December meeting. Our winter concert will be on Thursday, December 4th. At Riccardi, we are excited to launch an American Sign Language Club after school. The club will be run for 6 weeks and is open to all 6th grade students. A big thank you to Ms. Gavner for offering to bring her expertise and passion for American Sign Language to our Riccardi community. Congratulations to Riccardi's Community Service Club for your most recent donation to the food pantry. 197 boxes of cereal, 127 K-cups, 47 coffee pouches, and many other miscellaneous items were donated. Thank you to the club's officer, Ms. Daphne Selly, for your endless energy and sharing your passion for giving back to the community with our students.
All right, thank you, Adriana. Dr. Rohrbach.
Hey, so good evening again. So it's such a joy to see and hear so many of our students' voices sharing their Sawyer experience. Thank you to all of them tonight. And again, I want to begin by thanking our veterans who have served our country, protecting our democracy and freedom. Your courage and sacrifice reminds us what it means to serve something greater than ourselves. I'm proud that each of our schools either hosted an assembly or breakfast for our veterans, and I found it absolutely outstanding that Cahill Elementary, if you drove by, you noticed all those small flags in front of the school. Their student government sold the flags for $1. Sometimes people gave more. As a result, they raised $750 for the VA, and they presented that to them during the assembly, and the look on their faces was just priceless. Additionally, Mr. Riazzi and the board and I would like to take a moment to recognize Mr. and Mrs. Mullen.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So every year, the Ulster County School Board Association does a Distinguished Friend of Education Award, and we get to nominate somebody for that. This year on Thursday, November 20th, the Saugerties Central School District is proud to recognize Mr. and Mrs. Mullen as this year's recipient of the Ulster County School Board Association Distinguished Friend and Education Award. To date, this is amazing, they have provided scholarships to 170 students. So we would just want to thank them now for their unwavering support, their generosity, and their genuine care for our students, not just with the scholarships, but with everything that they do for our community. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So in addition to many of our students learning, just like Mrs. Giangreco was saying, it is a core value that our adults, all of our adults are learning here in this district. And while our students' achievements remind us of what's possible when talent, effort, and support come together, this fall, I think it's really important to highlight that all of the adults have not stopped teaching and learning for 1 second. And they have been committed to the whole child this entire season despite uncertainty. So the adults are continuing to learn about trauma-informed care and instruction during our superintendent's conference days and teaching and learning meetings. And we are continuing to learn more about the science of reading, project-based learning. So I find these two methods absolutely fascinating because both are absolutely essential to build a whole child. So within the science of reading, we are doing a lot of work on learning how to teach in a very direct and explicit method. And then juxtaposed to that, we are simultaneously working on project-based learning and alternate assessments. We are learning how to release control and not always be so explicit. So both of these are absolutely imperative to education, and I'm really proud of the plan pilot work that is happening. Later on, Ms. Stefino will share more of that work, but just well done to our staff that continues to dive deep into these initiatives that are what's right and best for students.
Ms. Stefino, plan pilot presentation.
Hi, thank you so much for the time to speak about the plan pilot. For me, this is really what I'm passionate about, and I am thankful that I've had the opportunity at this point to speak to the board a few times about this work. So as a recap, this is a 3-year action research program through New York State. We were selected through an application process out of many schools. We're one of less than 25 schools in the state participating in this program. We are currently in year 2. And what this looks like in Saugerties right now, we have a working group of Chinese wealth educators who are interested in alternative assessments. So whether that is students presenting their learning at the end of the year, doing portfolios, project-based learning, we are studying all of that. Those teachers who are participants get ongoing professional learning over 25 hours a year, and that consists of reflection, instructional coaching as a group, and with each other. And this year, NYSED has announced that there is the opportunity for Plan Pilot schools to apply for what is called regulatory flexibility for Part 100 of the Commissioner's regulations, that being the diploma requirements. So we will be able to apply for a waiver to see if some of our work can count instead of a Regents exam for some of our students. I'll talk more about what that might look like. So our overall essential question that in our district we are working on in this work is how might we design rigorous, trauma-informed educational experiences for our students that allow for strong engagement, equity, and empowerment. And right now, as I mentioned, we are in part of a 3-year program. We are in the extended implementation phase. So we have grown our cohort of teachers onto year 2. So in year 1, we started with 5 teachers. We grew to 7. And the ask of those teachers was to try 1 PBL unit. They could pick whenever they wanted that to be throughout the year. They could pick something as short as a week to as long as a whole class, which some of our teachers did. And I was so proud and continue to be so proud of the intellectual risks both our teachers and students took with this work. So just some samples of what came out of year 1. We had an AP US history teacher who totally gave over control of his class to his students and let them run the project and figure out what they wanted to do. And what they came up with together was a curriculum audit. So the students actually asked teachers from K to 12 for their social studies curriculum. They looked through it, they compared it to the New York State standards, and then they gave teachers and administrators feedback for how to make that curriculum even better. So that is really the gold standard of students driving the learning. They were actually giving feedback to the adults in the building. We also had an algebra teacher last year try to just change up the way she was assessing her students. So she noticed a lot of times in classes, kids were able to do things when they were working in groups or independently, explain things to her, and then they would get to a test and freeze up and really struggle with the transfer on a test. So she changed one of her assessments to what was called a round table. And she gave the students different math prompts, and they had to explain it to each other in small groups, and that was their assessment. So those are just two examples of what came out of year one that we are continuing to work on in year two. And what I will add, I don't have my survey results from the students, but overwhelmingly, students really respond well to this work. They're really excited about being given the opportunity to share what they think and drive the learning on our engagement continuum. So it has been highly positive for our students as well. In our professional learning time as teachers, all of our work follows a design thinking model. So I use the Stanford D-School design thinking approach, which is here on the screen, to plan all of our PD, and then this is also the process that our teachers go through. So we always start by empathizing with the student experience. That might look like looking at student data, interviewing students, looking at classrooms, ideating what the students need, and then throughout the year, the teachers are constantly prototyping and revising their design. So it's never just, here's my project, I'm done. We're working together as a collaborative group to always get better. Let's skip ahead one. And what that looks like for the students follows exactly the same pattern. So central to this work is students getting the opportunity to revise, take feedback, get feedback from each other, self-assess, constantly make their work better, and then make their thinking public. And those are all skills, 21st century skills, that just simply can't be measured by a standardized test. So to close, I will just show you the timeline of what our work in Saugerties has looked like and will continue to look like. To recap, last year we had 7 teachers who completed collectively over 25 hours of professional learning as a group, as well as bi-monthly instructional coaching on their projects one-to-one with me. Each teacher was tasked with implementing one unit or project. I will say most of them were overachievers and went above and beyond. And then we got to do a visit to our mentor school through Plan Pilot. That is Thomas Edison Career and Technical High School in Queens. They are coming here in 2 weeks to do an intervisitation with us, so that's super exciting. We are now in year 2 of the pilot work. We have grown to 12 participating teachers. It was my goal this year to focus on 9th graders because last year at the junior high, almost all of our students participated in presentations of learning. So they all had the opportunity to build portfolios and share those out in roundtables. And I wanted to keep that momentum going with 9th grade. Also, the 9th grade Regents exams, algebra and living environment, tend to be the ones that students with disabilities and ENL students struggle with the most. So having that potential for regulatory flexibility there felt really important for equity. So we have 2 cohorts of teachers right now, one who are all 9th grade teachers. We have full participation from all of our living environment and algebra teachers and 1 ELA. And then we have a second cohort for our 10th through 12th grade teachers, which includes business, US history, chemistry, and physics. They will continue this year receiving 25 hours or more of professional learning together and bi-monthly coaching. And then this year the ask is for the teachers who are doing Regents classes. They are implementing a summative performance assessment. So something the students will do at the end to show competency on those New York State standards. The teachers who don't have Regents classes get to choose any unit or project. And a lot of them are just doing project-based classes like our business classes. Our mentor school, as I said before, they're actually coming here this year, which is great. And I hope we can bring the teachers there again. And as I mentioned before, we have the opportunity to apply for regulatory flexibility. Next year is the last year of the pilot program. So the goal is to continue to grow and continue to add more teachers to our cohorts. I would love if that looked like adding those 10th grade Regents classes and building each year. And that is it. Does anyone have questions?
I have a question. So this is a pilot program, and you said that we're one of 25 schools that are participating. Do you get together with your equivalents at the other schools to provide feedback? And then what is the ultimate eventual like end game that New York is trying to figure out?
Yeah, so we meet as a Plan Pilot team, myself, Dr. G, Mrs. Molyneux, and the other schools. We meet about once a month, and it's just collaborative problem solving, sharing what's going well, what's not going well. We're actually working on a book of strategies, which will be really exciting to share out to the rest of the state. And the goal is for a statewide rollout of performance assessments. New York State has not figured out what that is going to look like, and they're really leaning on us to show what could work. But I think it has become abundantly clear over the years that not every child finds the same success on a Regents exam, and that doesn't mean there's something wrong with that child. So giving them different opportunities, and I think the other piece of this research is speaking and listening and building a portfolio and synthesizing work. Those are all skills that are not measured by the test, that are part of New York State's Portrait of a Graduate. So they're leaning on us to help build that as well.
Great, thank you.
No, you go first, go ahead.
I just have a question. Just out of curiosity, the curriculum audit, what did the kids come up with? What did the students come up with? And were they able to share that with social studies teachers, or what are they gonna do with that? Because I think that would be very interesting to hear what their thoughts are.
Yeah. So they shared it with Shannon and I, and they really focused on junior high and high school. They did not get full share out of K to 12, and we wanted to not put pressure on the teachers, like you have to send this kid the email with all of your curriculum. So the feedback that they shared with us was they just want to look at more primary sources, and they felt like a less biased approach was helpful. And it was really interesting because the two groups both came up with different examples of what bias might look like from both sides. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
A little bit follow on to kind of Michelle's question about it being a pilot. So after year 3, so this is a pilot program, it's 3 years. Once after year 3, then we continue this on our own, or there's like, that's the goal, okay.
We've been told nothing
That,
about after year 3. I will
Applying.
say they're leaning really heavily on what we're doing and kind of using what we're doing to build the next year. So I feel very confident in the work that's happening in this building, and it's gonna continue here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Initially, this was going to be the action research to inform the Board of Regents for graduation pathways, but the Board of Regents, in my opinion, moved faster. So now they have launched, the New York State Portrait of a Graduate, and which the Saugerties Portrait of a Graduate dovetails with that. And also, we will begin talking more and more about New York State graduation pathways.
I have a question. So during the 3-year pilot, is there any classes that are where the students are sort of evaluated on the performance evaluation and also on the standardized testing, so that there's sort of comparison that can be done?
Yeah, so if we're granted the regulatory flexibility waiver, our kids will still sit for the exam and take the exam. We don't want to not give anyone the opportunity to do that, and that way we'll also be able to compare.
So they'd do both, each student would do both?
Yes.
Great, thanks.
I wanted to compliment you on this effort. It's great to see looking at the experts in the field and building up rather than from top down. We all saw the horror of Common Core being implemented by the state and nobody knowing what they're doing. So this is great. The question I have, Can the board help advocate in any way for you to get the regulatory approval?
That's a great question, and I don't know the answer to that.
Well, if you can find the answer to it,
Yes.
please let us know. You know, we're active in the professional organizations, New York State School Boards, SANES, and so forth. So if there's a way to help out, we'd be glad to do it.
That's very appreciated, thank you. Okay, thank
Any
you,
other questions?
everyone.
Thank you,
for your
Mr.
time.
Vito. Perfect. All right.
Like sucks.
Yeah.
Great.
Auditor's report.
Just in case. Just trying to.
Probably not as exciting as the pilot plan. Christine, they're remote, right?
They're supposed to be remote, yeah.
They're supposed to be remote.
I am on the call.
Hi, guys. It's all yours.
All right.
Rock.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Teresa Ellis. I'm the external auditor and the audit supervisor with the Bonadio Group. We recently completed the audit and went over the audit reports in detail with your audit committee. And I'm speaking tonight to go over a very high-level summarized version of the audit results and any questions that you may have. First, I'd like to thank Mike, Michelle, and Annette and the rest of the business office for all of their assistance during the audit. There are 3 deliverables that we provided to you. The first is the financial statements. The second is the audit of the extra classroom financial statements. And the third is the required communications letter. The school district's annual audit of the financial statements includes the independent auditor's opinion on the financial statements, and we are issuing an unmodified opinion on your financial statements. An unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance an auditor can give you. The other report that is included in your basic financial statements is the Government Auditing Standards Report. This report requires us to gain an understanding and report on your internal controls over your financial reporting. We noted no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in the financial reporting or internal controls. And the second part of that report is gaining understanding of your compliance with laws, regulations, grant contracts that non-compliance could lead to a material financial statement impact. We noted no non-compliance. The school district is limited to retaining a 4% of the school's budget and unreserved unappropriated fund balance. And the school district is under that limit at 2.04% and is in compliance. We are also issuing the school district's annual audit of the extra classroom financial statements, and we are issuing an unmodified opinion on that financial statement. Again, the unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance that we can give you as your auditors. So that's a very high-level review of your audit results. Again, thank you to the business office for all of your assistance throughout the audit. I'm open for any questions that you may have.
Anybody have any questions? No? All right, thank you, Teresa.
Thank you very much.
All right, public recognition. Anybody in the audience who would like to speak? Now's the time. Please state your name and where you're from and your topic. Okay. Another second? No? Nobody? All right. Board member remarks. Michael, we'll start with you. Nothing. Bella Rosa.
On? Is this on now?
Yeah, Michael's works. We know Michael works.
Yeah. I'll just be brief. I just wanted to thank all the students that spoke this evening. I know it can be difficult and challenging to get up and talk in front of an audience at such a young age. So I commend them for getting up and speaking to us and congratulate Riker on his achievement of winning the sticker contest. And just to congratulate the sports teams and musicians for achieving in their areas. So thank you.
Sakina.
I want to keep passing.
Community Mike. We got Community Mike.
Community Mike. Okay. I also wanted to congratulate our student achievers in music, sports, and countywide civic engagement. In the case of the sticker contest, I have had the fortune of happening to run into Riker at the polls at least 2 years in a row now. So it's as the winner of the vote sticker contest. I also want to thank the more student presenters. I still am never particularly comfortable talking to a mic in front of people, but it's something that I am working on. And that's why I really appreciate Christina Jean Greco's remarks on walking the walk. So thank you for that. Trying to do that myself. And I want to thank Adriana for our student rep for the reports in the schools. I really appreciate news of how our school buildings are stepping up to fill the needs, the incredible need in our community. And I want to take an opportunity to advocate. While I really appreciate the work that we're doing, all of the different organizations, Boys and Girls Club, the library, all of the community organizations do to provide support, I also want to take an opportunity to advocate for collective mutual aid. It's mutual aid being a voluntary and non-hierarchical exchange resources and services between people. Things like on Facebook, there's a mutual aid group. There's also the Buy Nothing group where people exchange things rather than throw them out. It's a way for people to meet each other's needs and build community and solidarity. And it builds a more resilient community and challenges some of the systemic issues that we see that cause hardships in the first place. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to advocate for that, to thank all of the organizations and including our schools that engage in that. And I only hope it continues as things seem to be getting tougher. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tillman.
Try this, Mike. You know, sometimes I've been on the board a while. I've seen numerous presentations. I was going to do some math during Ms. Jean Greco's presentation. I think I've probably seen like over 100 presentations from elementary schools over years, and without a doubt, yours was the best I've ever seen. You included student engagement on so many levels, like to have the students design the painting in the building that reduces vandalism in the schools, to get kids engaged, then you see an increase in attendance, to see things student-centered. Student engagement is the top tier, and I think you hit a home run tonight, maybe a grand slam. I was also touched by some of the students, and I think we're doing things right in the community. When Cash talked about his grandfather, his uncle escorting them up as veterans, that's a memory he'll have for the rest of his life and a value he'll have for the rest of his life. Ricker, I think, gave a campaign speech to be on the Board of Ed tonight, and we better send him some petitions so he'd sign up and be on here one day. So I'm glad I'm here tonight, and I'm glad I get to hear these presentations. I think Saugerties did well on the academic front.
Leave it on.
Yeah, so I'll echo a little bit of what Bob said. Ms. Jean Greco, that was a great presentation. It's pretty amazing to see a lot of the cool things and different things you're doing at the school, a little innovative. And I know just from discussions with other principals, like some people are following suit with some of the things that you're doing. So it's cool to see that. I thought the virtual career fair at a young age like that is pretty cool to kind of see that type of stuff coming up. And I don't know if we carry it on through the high school. That's a question beyond that. But I hope that continues to carry through, even as, you know, it kind of goes through the junior high and the high school at some point as well. The students did an excellent job. I know there was a little nerves there, but they did an amazing job, even pronouncing the hard words as the young woman had there. But I truly appreciate it. I appreciate it, that it wasn't just full of graphs. We kind of got to the baselines of what we were really looking for and got a good look at what's going on in the school, and thank you very much for that. Riker, obviously, he's not here, but he did an amazing job. I think it's pretty awesome to see Saugerties Sawyer student be commended for his design, and then also, as we all kind of heard here when he was speaking, his own political knowledge for such a young man is pretty amazing. I mean, he's probably as well in depth, if not more, than I am at the moment, quite honestly. I'd like to say congratulations to the choir member, the area All-State, and the All-State Alternative, to Mr. Riazzi's son, Damien, on his cross-country at the States, the football team on winning section, a true, going into a true David versus Goliath kind of moment, quite honestly. Adriana, thank you for your report as well. The Mullins, I know John and Peggy quite well, and I know that they give a ton to this community and a ton to the school. Peggy was a teacher for a long time, and I know that John would come in and do demos for classes, and he's a man that, you know, the family just gives kind of thing. And I'm glad to see that they're being commended for that, and I look forward to Thursday and seeing them at the dinner. You mentioned the club fair this week. I think that's pretty awesome that we do that, and kind of circling back on the career fair. I know that some other schools in the area do a high school college fair, and where they invite colleges in,
And I don't know if we do something along those lines, but they actually have it like set up. It's pretty awesome. And I think maybe if we do that's great, but maybe we can look at it a little bit deeper too to kind of, because I've had feedback that we don't necessarily do that. And I don't know, like, I mean, they literally schedule colleges to come in, and I think we also need to invite like technical schools as well to make sure we're involving them also on that. That's all I got. Thank you very much. If you want this one, that one. We'll see.
I would like to echo all of the praise and accolades that everyone has offered. I was very impressed with both the Morris presentation and Chelsea's presentation. You guys are doing amazing stuff. You know, it's meetings like this and weeks like this that we remember as a community what an amazing community Saugerties really is. And, you know, we've gotten a lot of bad press over the last 6 months. This is the real heart of this community, though, and this is the good stuff that deserves to get the time in media and sort of social medias and all that kind of thing. I will just mention quickly, I've gotten several texts during this meeting today from people that are trying to watch the meeting online saying that there's technical difficulties. I don't know what the issue is, and obviously I'm not going to resolve it right this second, but if you are experiencing that, obviously the board, I'm sure, is committed to making sure that that doesn't happen because we want you to be engaged and able to participate in the meeting. So I just, for those that have texted me and I haven't responded, I hear you, and just, I guess, get that on record.
It's official. It's official.
Well,
Ms. Keller.
here's the problem with them last, that's pretty much said what I wanted to say. Once again, I just want to say congratulations to Ms. Giangreco, and I appreciate your presentation and how much work and how much time goes into working with students. And I can appreciate all the hard work that you do to provide a safe and supportive environment, both academically and emotionally for your kids. I think we've heard tonight, and we hear each month, not just tonight, about how we focus on the core values and how important it is to not only educate our students academically, but also touch those emotional and social needs that they have, and that's educating the whole child. And I want to thank Ms. DeFino for your presentation. The plant pilot, it sounds really exciting, and as you're talking, I'm thinking in my mind, man, if I was in my classroom now, I would try this, and I would try that. That's very exciting, so I'm sure, you know, the motivation is there, and I'm excited to see what's to come. Yeah, so, thank you.
Dr. Haas, do you have anything online?
Just a little. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm also going to start with gratitude. I'm not going to repeat all the ones that have been said because it is just amazing and it does feel really good to have a lot of good things to focus on. But I want to specifically call out Christine for attending so carefully to our financials and the audit committee. You know, and then inviting Mike and Kristen to our policy when we were talking about transportation. It was super helpful, and it just sort of echoed when, I'm not sure who's talked about professional culture, but it has been a real pleasure to have that grow in the board. And I want to thank all of the other members for your time and attention, because really our time and attention are really our biggest gifts that we have to give one another. And one of the themes, you know, about hearing about student voices, but it's also hearing about a lot of doing. And the kids are doing things, they're doing things with each other, they're doing things with their hands, they're making things, they're showing and demonstrating how they know what they know, and they're pursuing their curiosity, right? And that is what we want to foster. And I know there's a lot of talk about AI and a lot of use of AI when people know and don't know that they're using it. I'm not going to get into a whole discussion about it, but we did pass an AI policy, and I do want to think together with the administration and the staff sort of how we can get a bead on how it's being used by students, how it's being used by faculty, because it can provide some efficiencies, but we don't want those efficiencies to come at the expense of our thinking and our creating, and most importantly, our connecting with each other, because every day I'm reading another story about how anyway. So I just want to say that, and that we'll be sort of revisiting that and thinking about that also at the policy committee. You know, we do as board members have an obligation to visit schools, and it's one of the things that when we would go to schools, which was great, but it was very hard for people to hear and to sort of manage that. So I'd like us all to sort of think together about other ways that we're getting, you know, looking at the facilities, looking at the teaching and learning, looking at the, you know, how the money is being spent and what's going on. So because I really, when Ms. Giangreco has talked about, you know, inviting to the student, the SLT, the leadership team, I was like, oh, I want to go, but that's tomorrow, and I'm here. And then I just want to end, right, so I'm at the National Association of Young Children's National Annual Conference in Orlando, which is a whole other world. But I'm here presenting about credit for prior learning and about demonstration of competence, particularly in early childhood and in higher education. So the work that's happening here in the district around not even just alternate assessments, but alternate ways of children expressing how they know, what they know, and what skills we're actually looking for. These are not questions that are just being grappled with at the high school level, and that it's really, it's happening across education, and it's really great to hear that it's happening in our district. So that's it.
All right, thank you, Dr. Haas. So I'll be quick. As usual, I won't reiterate everything that the other 8 people have said, but the one thing on Ms. Giangreco and Ms. DeFino's presentations, they were great presentations. And from my perspective, who I listened to a lot of presentations in my other life, the reason I look at they were good, the material was good, but it wasn't about quantity. It wasn't the length of the number of slides that you had, right, which we've gotten killed with over a few sometimes. Right, you guys it was succinct, and everything that you put in the slide meant something, and how it was delivered. So thank you. both of you. That was great to learn about the plan pilot, but to learn about the things that you are doing out at Granting Morse is fantastic. And I think, as kind of Michelle had mentioned, some of the things that have happened over the last 6 months, I think the things that have kept our school community going in the direction that it's going, which is very positive, is our principals. All three of our elementary principals, and then Mrs. Vale and Mrs. Molyneux up here at the junior and senior high school, to manage what all of you have to do is exemplary. So thank you. And it just goes to show kind of what you guys are building. So the other thing, the last thing I'll mention, since everybody else gets to mention fun stuff, you are going to start to see some things happening. We as a board will release what level of information we can when we can. The thing I would say, and I'll speak for everyone around the table, nothing that we are doing or will do we are not shooting from the hip. They are not quick, rash decisions. There has been months of discussions and evaluations of components of data and facts, and that's what goes into every decision that you will see. The other thing I will ask is don't jump to conclusions and don't spread information that you do not know is 100% correct. If you have a question, if you are part of the Saugerties School District and you have a question on something, ask us. Shoot us an email. If there's information that we can tell you and clarify something, we will. If not, we'll try and give you a timeline of when we can clarify. But don't take something and assume something and then spread it like wildfire, because that just makes everybody's job that much harder, okay? All right, moving on to the actual agenda items. Personnel, we have a bunch of resignations in here. One name that Rohrbeck slipped in after we originally viewed was Mr. Prince. That wasn't on the other day. That's the job he has done to come in and do the job of 3 different people has been tremendous. But these, we have some resignations. We have 1 leave of absence under the family medical leave, and then appointments, everything from substitutes to our volunteers, which are 2s. We have girls wrestling chaperone, which is great to see, Miss Kelly. We have a new JV softball coach, and a new teaching assistant. So I have a motion for items K 1 through 3 by Mr. Toman, seconded. Ms. Kelder, any questions on any of that?
I have a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
Regards to wrestling, do we have a coach for that?
Yes, Mr. DePola.
Okay. So he's coaching the boys and the...
Nope, it's his brother.
Oh, different. Okay.
Yes, all right. Mr. DePola. Okay. Fully certified, and the thing that it's a great question, we had made sure that to go out and find somebody to be an assistant, actual coach, that was a female, was almost impossible. So we made a chaperone position that will be there just like an assistant. Okay? Thank you. All right. Any other questions? Great questions. All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Business office recommendations. We have our internal claims audit report, our treasurer's report, revenue and appropriations, our extra classroom statements report. So anybody out there who's that's the listing of all our clubs, everything from our sports teams to the French club to B club. That's their funding. Treasurer's reports. Can I have a motion for items L1 through 13? Mr. Armolia, second. By Ms. Del Rosa, any questions?
I just want to,
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out that one of the things, you'll see there's a number of revenue and appropriations reports and treasurer's reports on here starting back from June. That's because of the audit. These numbers are now final and we can move forward in closing the subsequent months. So that's why we have several ones on here at this point in time. I also do want to point out that on this report, or on this agenda, is the financial risk assessment report and the corrective action. We mentioned that at last month's meeting on the audit committee update that we did that with the internal auditor last month, and the report is now finalized, and the district put together a corrective action plan for any of the recommendations that came out of that report. So something like those things.
No, thank you, Christine. Yeah, because I first thought we had a bunch of duplicates on there. As we did. They were pronounced. All right. So, any other questions, clarifications? All those in favor? Aye. All right. Board action items. We have items M1 through 8, which are CSE, and CPSE recommendations. We have intermunicipal agreement with Kingston School District. Dr. Rohrbeck, what is Never Alone Treatment Center for people?
Sure, so it's an out-of-district facility to help students who may have substance abuse issues, so they receive a treatment plan. In that facility, would you like to say more about that?
Yeah, we supply we pay for the learning while they're there. It's usually anywhere from 3 to 4 months.
Okay. All right.
And it's in early.
Okay.
Are there a lot of students in that program?
Okay. So because she wasn't speaking to my capital, it was we pay for the learning while people are in that, while the students are in those programs. And there's not a lot of students in there, but something that's, I think, is great to offer. Okay. We have a SESA agreement for assistant aides and around seniority, and then a MOA around longevity payment. Can I have a motion for items M1 through 8? By Mr. Meyer, seconded by Ms. Kelder. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. All right. All right, committee report. Ms. Kelder, I don't know how much more on the audit, but
we did have an audit committee meeting yesterday, just for the external auditors to go through the financial statements with us, and I even confirmed for this evening that it's an unmodified opinion. There was no material weaknesses or deficiencies in internal controls, and the draft financial statement was included for approval this evening. And the next, also talked about we still are outstanding an internal audit report on the payroll process, and we're working on like our internal auditor on that. And the next board meeting is still to be determined, probably when we get that report to review it.
Okay, thank you. Anything on facilities?
Just very quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just really quickly, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and we are getting closer to identifying the construction manager that we selected for the capital project. If there's follow-up questions and recommendations, referrals, so you want to follow up with that. Rich Prince has custody of a living condition assessment, which is prioritized in terms of risks, and that's going to be instructive into what we eventually do with the capital project that's going to be coming up. So he's going to take a look at that. It was done, I think, last year.
2 years.
2 years ago. He's going to, over the next 60 days, he's going to reevaluate that and determine if there are any things that were not listed as priority items but need to move up because of maybe changes in functionality or condition of those things that come in the next 60 days. We're going to be touring certain parts of the campuses that are really in need of TLC upgrading, updating as part of capital projects. We're going to try that in the next 60 days. And then the last thing is that the McCarty easement due diligence continues. I expect that the next facilities meeting, hopefully we'll get an update from Tetra Tech on where we are with traffic study, wetland study. A couple of those things are pending and need to be completed before any kind of final plan can get going there. So that's all marching forward.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Dr. Hassany, I think on policy, just if there's any key things we're going to discuss next month. I know we canceled the November meeting because of veterans and just the moving of all the meetings around. So our next meeting is in December.
December 2nd, and I got the quarterly policy update at the end of October from Erie that has things we'll look at, and so December 2nd.
All right, perfect, thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to recess an executive session? We have a human resource discussion, and then we have a confidential legal and insurance matter to discuss. By Mr. Ammonia, can I have a second? By Sakina, any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Just note, we don't anticipate coming out and voting on anything after that. It'll be adjourned meeting. You're welcome to hang out if you want. Yeah, you are. And if we guys, we have all to cover.
It's nice to see you.
Adriana, great job. Thank you. Thank you, Carol, Amy.
Whoever the heck you are.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thursday morning. Yeah, I don't want to be sick. Because you were fine too. Even I was sitting here, I was like, all of a sudden, and I was like, are there tissues out there?
Hey, ladies.
And I imagine because yeah.
You guys are at people's table now, huh? They're not over there in the corner
I don't
anymore.
like it. I don't like it one bit. It kind of likes being over.
I know, right? And your curtain call fell down.
And one like bumped into it. I was like, wow, that was.
Hey, young lady, how's the kid party? This is what you want. Yeah. Thank you. Right, exactly.
Michelle? I heard you're a speedy driver.
Why?
All the way to Rochester and back.
In 4 minutes, 4 hours?
That's what it said on the map. That's what map said. I'll do it right now and prove it to you. It said 3 hours and 56 minutes.
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
That's what it said.
I lived in Rochester for a while. And,
I mean, the convention center is really easy to get to. You're just like right there.
No, Kodak. Yeah, they got the big Kodak building with it lit up. I love that.
That, I think oh no.
And how
That
many?
says 4 hours and 44 minutes.
And how many times did you stop?
And it still only took 4 hours.
Right.
So you, that's what I did.
It says 3 hours and 56 minutes via I-90. That's what I look at. I don't know what this stuff means. Oh, here it is. No, that's, see, now we get to fast. The other ways it.
We're not really sure if it took us that.
But it's right around 2 hours each way. But I did notice on the way home.
Yeah, because he's seen people pulled over, and he's like, I don't know why these people get pulled over. No one is passing. So we gotta do something else.
Look, drunker. Yeah, I had my cruise at 79.
My dad
79?
Stay right under that 80. Pull me over, son.
Well, to hear it.
That's what you said.
Right, you're right. Driving too far.
Oh, okay.
I'm parked out front, yes. Good night.
Bye, Chelsea.
Good night. Bye, Chelsea, thanks.
Okay. Bye. See you later. Joshua! How's it going?
On days. On days. Good night.
Good night.
I work here.
Thanks.
It's an experiment, so you have to give us a little grace, but. Yeah. up and he was like,